Hi, everyone. It's Amalia, founder of S.T.E.M Braids and Beyond and host of the Silver Bullet podcast. I have my youngest guest on the podcast today. She doesn't have STEM work experience, but she's an advocate for underrepresented STEM girls, getting girls into STEM. And I think we're really going to enjoy the conversation with her today. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, my name is Archi Marrapu. I am a 16-year-old student. I'm a high school student from Northern Virginia, and I'm really passionate about STEM advocacy for young girls and minority cultures, and I'm the founder of a STEM empowerment organization called STEMify Girls.
Okay, so STEM, tell us a little bit about STEMify Girls. Like, what if somebody were to attend one of your workshops? What would that look like?
Yeah, so STEMify Girls is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that works on three main targets. So our first target is working with students as young as possible. So my STEM journey started when I was around 3 or 4, and I think that really helped me pick a career in STEM and harness that interest that I've built across the years. So that is one of the main goals we target. We try to start STEM activities and workshops from early elementary school just to help them build that spark of interest. Our second main target is to focus on hands-on learning because, again, most people say that hands-on learning works better for them than a lecture-based event or a speech or presentation. Usually when people can explore with their own hands, get on their hands and work with the things, they usually learn more from that. So that is a big part of what we do. And our third goal is to help people identify that no matter what your interest is, everything connects back to this core thing that we call STEM. So whether it's cooking, art, sports, everything always is interconnected with STEM. And our goal is to help you find that connection to STEM so you can possibly find a career in STEM. So if you were to attend one of our events, it would probably be like a short introduction of whatever concept we're focusing on. It might include a small, like 5-minute presentation or 10-minute lecture, but then we would have a majority of like booths or some hands-on activities conducted by third-party organizations that help you really learn and explore on your own, but we would be there to guide and assist you in that process.
Oh, beautiful. So you shared that you were still in school. What does a day in your life look like?
Yeah, so I usually wake up pretty early in the morning just to do homework or to do some other like extracurricular activities. I actually recently gave a TEDx talk, so that took up a few of my mornings over the summer. But I go to school, and the commute is actually an hour from my house. So it's an hour to go to school and an hour to come back. So that
Wow.
usually takes up from like 7 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I get home around 5. And then again, it's just mainly doing homework, finishing up, working on the SAT, which I have coming up, and so on. So I do fit in this work with the organization and my extracurriculars in between doing my work just to take a break from the core academics. But usually my regular day is quite packed.
Yeah, I can see that. The you shared that you got your STEM exposure around 3 or 4. What activity did you start with, and how did you manage to get into STEM at such a young age?
Yeah, so before elementary school, I actually used to participate in math competitions from organizations across the Virginia, Maryland, and DC areas. So I would participate in science competitions, math competitions, where you would basically take a test and they would grade it and give you prizes for it. So it's a pretty generic test. And then when elementary school started, we actually had a variety of opportunities available to us. My first main STEM activity, I think, was Junior FLL, which is First Lego League. And this is a robotics competition that gives you like a challenge. Then you prepare a poster board and you use Legos to solve that particular challenge. And I did that all the way through elementary school. In the middle, I also started something called ACSL and Math Olympiad and other math competitions. ACSL stands for American Computer Science League, and it's a theoretical computational course and a competition. So There's four competitions throughout the year, and it's basically working with like binary numbers, conversions, and graph theory, and there's a lot of units like that. So those are the basis of what I did throughout elementary school, and then from there I just kind of got hooked onto that and explored different areas of STEM, did science fairs, and so on until I started my first project in late sixth grade.
Oh, nice. So, your target is the underrepresented, mainly girls. Talk to me a little bit about what the ethnic breakdown looks like in the initiatives you're having and how you're able to reach. Underrepresented is um, overarching, but my focus is on Black girls because, for one, I'm Black and I know what it means to be Black, but all women, I
Mhm.
mean, we have a common experience. What does your initiatives to include underrepresented girls, diverse girls, I should say,
Yeah,
in
yeah, that's a great question. So, my organization actually is based within Virginia. However, we do travel to other places in order to target these different groups of ethnicities. So, here in Virginia, our group of initiative, like when we do events, the group that usually is present are Asian Americans, but we also do travel to Maryland a lot. And there, it's mostly like African Americans and Latina Americans. So we do try to cover like all of the bases. We do events in Washington, D.C., and it's completely mixed there. So we have a good turnout of different ethnic groups. So that's what we try to do. We just kind of travel to wherever the communities are mainly located. We have connections within Maryland and DC as well. So we can host organization events that are collaborated just so we can pull together two groups of people and have an event at once to include like different ethnicities.
and okay, that's so beautiful. I love it. And quite a lot to accomplish because you're only 16, like trailblazing is your DNA. So, from your programs, what kind of interest do you see? Do you see kids shifting or the girls shifting their academic focus, beginning to explore STEM careers? Like, what is the follow on to the programs you're hosting?
Yeah, so this is actually one of the stories I love to tell because it touched me and my heart so much.
Um,
So there was actually a girl power event at Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory that we participated in. So we held a booth there as STEMify Girls. And our booth was called Brain Build, and it was basically a neuroscience introduction. And we had like a model of a brain that people could break apart and then build it together. So it had like different neuro components, and they could learn about each part and then put it together in the end. And I had a little girl come to our booth, and she was really interested in how the brain works. So she was already interested in like biology, and she already started to explore a little about that. However, she was afraid to touch the brain model. So she
Ooh.
was scared of the physical and the hands-on component, and that's what we focus on. So usually what I would do is I would ask them to do the brain model alone, and I would give them the answer at the end if they couldn't figure it out. But what happened was I actually ended up walking her through each step and walking her through that process because she was terrified, but she loved the concept. So, just that experience of how at the end, her mom and her came up to me again at the end, and they were like, "Oh, like she really loved your activity. Like, oh, where can I get more activities like this? Where can I get the brain model?" And she was just so passionate at the end, and it kind of helped her build onto her already existing interest. And I found that really powerful because, again, like she walked in with that fear, but she walked out with such excitement, and she took a picture with the brain, and it was so cute to watch. So I loved walking through with her and her mom and helping her through that fear so that she could actually explore more of what she was interested in.
I love that. And especially when you started out, you said that you like working with younger children. So, like, if the fear is broken early, then STEM feels more tangible later in life. Do you feel like?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That girl was no older than 4, I think. She was about 3, I think.
Oh, wow. And so, do you offer kits like this for the kids to play with after, or how does somebody get any of the materials you use?
Yeah, so this brain model I actually got for one of my projects. So I bought it and I was using it for one of my personal projects that I was doing.
Mhm.
But I did give them the link. I didn't have other materials that I could hand out to them, unfortunately, in that instance. I actually didn't think ahead of that might happen. But I did give them the link and I gave them like a store that they could find that in. So I hope that helped, but I didn't have any materials to hand out to them at that moment.
I love this. I am asking a little bit more challenging question. It's fine if you don't have an answer, but for a lot of, I live in Baltimore, Maryland, and there is a lot of underfunded schools. And so STEM is something that not every school's budget allows. And so in doing my workshops, I ran across kids who were struggling academically. And how do you inspire someone whose basic needs aren't met, and we are trying to say, hey, here's something that can change the trajectory of your future, when their concern is about the needs they have for that day? How do you inspire? Like, can you share something that maybe a kid could hear and feel like, you know what, there's light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, so I think there was two parts to that question, so I'm gonna walk through a little bit. So
What?
STEMify Girls, one of our first earliest events was actually going to one of these underfunded, underrepresented schools in Maryland and doing an activity with them and helping them see that this technology was so impactful that nothing really came in the way of growing with that. So we did an activity with them and it was totally free of cost. It was like a field trip for them, but again, it was free of cost. So we went to a school and we did this activity with them. We taught them a few lessons. And then at the end, they were exploring their own with like robotics and stuff like that. But one piece of advice essentially that I would give is that determination will clear all the obstacles in your way. So there are a lot of online resources. There's a lot of organizations around this area. I know definitely, and I'm probably sure across the country as well, that
Mhm.
do support this type of thing. There's a lot of sponsorships, scholarships, all sorts of activities. There's free of cost organizations that allow you to participate in these type of activities. And we are only one of those. I'm 100% sure they're spread out everywhere. So looking for those opportunities might be helpful. I know I speak from the opposite perspective. I don't have the same issues, but this is the best advice that I think that I could give. It's just be determined, be so determined that those obstacles will clear themselves out of your way.
Got it. I love it. So I want to unpack a little something about what you said. You said different types of activities. What fields in STEM do you focus your activities on? Because I have the brain activity, the robotics. What areas in STEM, or do you do all areas, the whole STEM?
Yeah, so we try so hard to focus on different aspects of STEM, all sorts of STEM. So we did an event on physics, we did one on astronomy, we did a mathematics event. So we do try to have diversity in the events that we have, just so we're not channeling them into one particular area and we're
I
targeting a
love it.
larger audience.
Tell us. That's so beautiful. And so what is the frequency of your events?
That actually depends. So we host a few events on our own, but a lot of the events we do are also collaborations, or we're invited to other events that need us to do a booth or give a keynote presentation or something like that. So we definitely do a lot of events, but it depends on what time of year it is. So summer might have fewer events or more events. The beginning of the school year, we usually have at least four
Wow.
that we participate in. So from almost October to December, we have four in that time range. But after that as well, we do have it, but it might not be as frequent as the 4 in 2 months.
Got it. So it's like as the need arises,
Yeah,
you show up like a superhero.
yeah.
Okay, so my last question, and then you can share your information again and how everybody can get in touch with
Mhm.
you. What does STEM mean to you?
STEM means everything in the world to me, and quite literally as well. STEM, again, as I mentioned, I believe that everything is STEM. No matter what you're doing, no matter if you're playing a game, if you're playing a sport, instrument, everything comes under the field of STEM in some way or the other. And I think that's really important to know because we're in a generation where jobs are being created by the second that involve these STEM skills even more. And that's something we need to highlight and teach the kids of this generation so that they can succeed in the future no matter which field that they pick. But these STEM skills, I believe, that are necessary for any job that you apply for or any career that you desire. So yeah, STEM basically means everything to me.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So go ahead and tell us again your name and how we can get in touch with you if you have any upcoming events.
Yeah. So my name is Archi Marrapu. I'm located in Northern Virginia. And please do feel free to contact me by my email. That's archimarrapu@gmail.com. Or from my LinkedIn account, it's just ARCHI and then Marrapu, MARRAPU. I also have a personal website and a STEMify Girls website. My personal is archimarapu.com, and my STEMify Girls one is stemifygirls.org. So, in any means, please do contact me. I would love any opportunities to collaborate, any questions you have, or any opportunities that you need. I am always there, so please do reach out. Thank you.
Do you have any events coming up?
Yeah, so STEMify Girls is actually collaborating with the Washington Academy of Science and a couple other organizations. We have an event on September 16th in Washington, D.C. It's on my LinkedIn, so please do feel free to reach out to me about questions about that as well. Any high school students, any students at all are welcome to join. We have prizes that we're giving out, and there's a lot of panel speakers and activities. So yeah, feel free.
Absolutely. So glad having you. Until next time, guys. Bye.